Hello, and welcome back to Roscoe Gaming. I'm Roscoe, and this is Glevum Manor Safari. Now, we're continuing on with the safari. I just wanted to get some... Basically, it's a lot of fencing to put in and surrounding areas, and so you'll see me do bits and pieces. I didn't want to do an entire video of me placing fences all the way around the exhibit. We are putting a couple more animals in, and it's working really nicely. I've put the road for the bus underneath the actual road, so it looks like they're on the road, which works really nicely. We're just testing the ferry now, and rather than making it go up those hills, which I couldn't do, it's just going to stay in the bottom zone of the safari. It doesn't have any sides on the bus, so it's not ideally suited to go into a monkey enclosure or a tiger enclosure anyway. So we're just going to keep it in the lower area where the animals are more suited. Clearly they probably wouldn't want a rhino sticking its head in there, but I think they're pretty good. So we're just going to put some fencing round and some greenery just to make it feel like it's not in the middle of a park and it's out in the country or something. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. I do a few variations of these blocks of gates and then just alternate them, and it turns out quite nicely. Hope you're all having a good week. This is supposed to be going up in a couple of hours, so I'm hoping that the upload speed is really quick because I'm really behind on my videos at the moment. I would say it's because I've been working, but it's because I went out on the weekend to socialise with my best friend, and that put me behind. So it's my own fault, but I will get there in the end. So if this is late coming out, I do apologise. I will try for it not to happen again. This is a bit of a random video, really. It's bits and pieces. So at the moment we're playing with the safari and making that feel more lived in and alive. We move on to some mascots, which I really wanted to do. Please don't judge me when you see them. It is my first time using the shaped pieces. That's what I meant. You'll have to excuse my brain. I've literally just finished work. And I've rushed home because it's bank holiday, so we get to finish early. Woohoo! Just so I can get this uploaded as quickly as possible for you guys to see. So yeah, we do a couple of mascots, which turn out really nicely considering it is my first time using the art shapes. Art shapes, that's what I was looking for. We're going to put a little side gate in here, leading into probably a backstage area as we build up the park. I do also bring in the manor house from Glevum Manor because, let's be fair, we need a manor house and it's ideally suited. I may tweak it a bit. You'll see me when I put it down looking at the interior because I'm trying to figure out if I can put some sort of ride in it. Maybe one of those rides where you sit in a cart and it takes you around on the track and you can have a tour of the mansion. That would be quite nice. But I'm not sure I've got enough space in there to do that. I will have a play around with it, and if I do, I will do a video on me squeezing it all in, but I don't think that's likely. We also start on a building opposite the main information office, which I wanted to look like the original gatehouse, some sort of old cottage. It actually it looks a lot like a British country pub after it's finished. Which wasn't my intention, but it does fit in really nicely. A lot of the build isn't in this video because I have a habit of... because I'm stupid, basically. Because I have a habit, I use the game bar to record, and I have a habit of pressing screenshot instead of record, and then I do an hour or so, and I go, oh, right, I've got some good video there, and all I'm left with is a photo, not actually any footage. So you will have to apologise, my building is missing part of it. But you do see the ending and where I do the seating area and the gardens. And I haven't done much to the interior. If I do, you'll see that at some point. That'll probably be another video where we do bits and pieces. But on the next episode, I'm hoping to get a roller coaster in. I don't do a lot of roller coasters, so this will be quite interesting. I'm really going to try and get a good roller coaster in. I think at the front of the park we're probably a bit like Drayton Manor. They've got like the buffalo roller coaster at the front of the park. It's not a thrilling roller coaster. It's not an upside down spinny roller coaster. It's all about speed and turns and things like that. So I think we're going to go with a smaller roller coaster like that at the front of the park and then build up as we get further back. I also want to get a couple of rides in so it actually starts looking like a theme park. We will also look at bringing over the reptile house, but that's all in future episodes. At this point, I'm working out how to make legs for my mascot. I've got the little archer there trying to keep an idea of scale. We've got a fountain at the front of Glevum Manor Safari, which I designed with the idea of children being able to play in it and run in and out, and it's very much that sort of design, and I just feel it needed something on it. So we're building these two mascots to go on it. You'll probably recognise them by the time I've finished. It's really hard finding items that are small enough to work. Like, a lot of this works really nicely, but then when you get to the eyes and the nose and you're looking for something just smaller to fit into the art blocks and that, excuse me, it's quite difficult finding. I used a rock for the nose on this character, and it actually worked beautifully. It was just the perfect shape. I hope you agree, it does look really good. I've gone really simple on the hands. I probably could put some more effort in, but because I'm using the smallest shapes, because I don't want them to be massive, I just want them to be, well, let's be fair, they're probably, well, if that man's 6 foot, they're probably a 12 foot maximum. I don't want huge figurines of them. Sorry, was having a sip of my tea. As you know, you can't do a gamer video without tea. If you haven't got one, pause now, go and get one and then come back. So we'll just obviously the tail I'm putting in now should give away what we're creating. We are creating a raccoon. Our mascot is going to be a raccoon. I've really tried hard to make it look like my little cartoony raccoon, and I think I do a good job. I probably, once I get more used to the shapes and that and do a bit more with them, I might retry these, but for the time being I think they turned out lovely and I'm really happy with them. I was trying to get some white into the ears there, but it didn't quite work. It made the ears too small, so we're just going to go with plain grey ears for the time being. I've got the black around the eyes. I thought that worked out really nicely, and now I'm just putting some balloons in his hand. These balloons are off the workshop. I will link them in the description below. I want to say they're Ms. Red Nebula, who has just released some beautiful peacocks on the workshop. If you haven't seen those, go over, have a look, and they're definitely going into Glevum Manor pretty soon, I'd imagine, because it's very common in the British parks to have peacocks walking around. They're not normally caged, they do just walk around the park, so that'll be quite nice. There's our fountain there, you saw me moving him over. I put him in there and I decided there definitely needs to be a second mascot in there. Possibly a third mascot at some point, so we've got like a little group of children's mascots. So what we're going with, we've got the raccoon, which is me, so we're going to use the panda from the Mental Gents. So basically we've got the Mental Gents mascot sat at the front of the park. Obviously, if I do a little children's zone, we might need a couple more mascots and they'll join them. I'm not sure what yet. We've got, obviously, the panda and the raccoon. If you haven't seen the Mental Gents, get over to that channel and check it out. Asquith does a lot more on the channel than I do, but I am trying to do more content. We've had a few issues with sound quality and things like that on a couple of the first videos, but we've got that sorted now, so go over and have a look. I've got a few videos over there, Asquith's got a few videos over there, and we could really do with the support on the channel. So now we're almost finished the panda. I was thinking of leaving him as a polar bear because it worked quite nicely, but then I thought, no, I've based it on Asquith, we'll definitely go with the panda, so we're just going to put some black hands and feet on him, I think I put on, and some ears. And his eyes are a bit mad, I have to admit. Like, the raccoon turned out really nice, and I like the nose on the panda. It's got a nice little shape to it. But I feel his eyes are a bit mental, so I might have to go back and redo that. I don't want him scaring the children. I could try and get some See, I could have just gone with that, where it was just plain black. But I go, no, I can make this better. I don't leave them stuck out like that. That would definitely scare the children. So we're just putting some black rings around it, and then we can change. See, I really struggled with the panda's eyes. I don't know why. The raccoon I found quite easy with the eyes. It was like the nose and things like that I struggled with. These emergency lightings coloured black work beautifully sunken in as eyes, and they leave that little white speck as well on the panda, which is quite nice. And there we go, he's got a bit mad eyes, but I like him, and I think that they'll be very inviting for children as you walk into Glevum Manor Safari. So I think I put something in his hand. I'm going to say an ice lolly or a lollipop. Lollipop, there we go. He has a lollipop, and Roscoe the raccoon has balloons, which are just, look at those balloons, they're really nicely done. And we're going to put him in, and that is our mascots done. We move on to bringing the manor house over now. And you'll see, as I said, you'll see me looking around inside for a very long time, and I'm really trying to figure out if I can get a car tour, some sort of tour in there, and I don't think I've got enough space. I wish I had. Maybe I could. Do you know what? I'm going to play around with it, and we'll come back to that. For the time being, I'm just going to place it in now and then add the paraffin in. So we have our manor house back in. I could have built a new manor house, but I really like the manor house. It was the first thing I built for Glevum Manor, so it's definitely staying, and I like the car display out the front. I just feel that the manor house needs more use in the park, rather than just being a big stone building sat there. I want people to be able to go in and out and enjoy the manor house. So I will look into that. And I think shortly we move over to building the other building. I was trying to rack my brains with the last time I've been to a theme park, and it's been years since I've been to a theme park, and I was trying to figure out what you get in the British theme park as you go in. So obviously I've got the arcade and the information office on one side. On the other side I decided a cafe. We normally have a cafe near the front of the park, so as I said, the plan was to go for a building that looked like the old gatekeeper's cottage or something like that. And it actually turns out more like a British pub, but that fits the theme beautifully. We've put a Sweet Success, or whatever the sweet shop is called, and we've put the Fox's Coffee in there. So two things that should go really nicely together. That, as you can see, we've missed a lot of the footage of the build, which is a shame, because I was really happy with how this building turned out. I really liked the plants growing up the one side, and I do a bit of work on some of the windows and put flower planters in under the windows and some shutters and things like that. I haven't done the back of the building yet. I've only done the front because I was busy working on the garden. I really wanted this area with lots of picnic tables and umbrellas and a nice area to sit and chill out, and I think that gave the look of a British pub even more, because a lot of our, especially our country pubs, have this big area right the front or the side of it that you can sit out in the sunshine and drink your pint. So as you see, as I'm building it, it takes on more and more of a look of a British pub, but I'm happy with that. It works nicely. We put a little wall out the front, we put some foliage in. I never really know how to place the benches, so I just try and place them as random as possible. It seems to work, and I don't want an umbrella on every bench, even though likely most of the benches would have had umbrellas on in real life. I just feel it's a bit too much and too uniform. So we're just going to bring the path down and make like a little courtyard area, and it's pretty much that straightforward. And now we're going to start putting the wall in. I put a couple of gates on which look really nice. I'm not sure they're realistic. I don't know if I close them they would cover the gap that I leave, but it looks nice. We're going to put a little bit of edging around here. Obviously people can go on the grass. The wood is just there to encourage people not to go on the grass. Kids are going to play on the grass. They're going to go around in the bushes and stuff like that. We just have to encourage them not to. But Britain's very much like that. We don't put fences everywhere. We put little things like these little logs around the edge just to encourage you not to go on there. If you do go on there, no one says anything anyway. So we're just putting some greenery down the side here. I'm thinking the roller coaster will be that side, the other side of that bush that I've just put in. I thought that would be really nice. You'd be able to see it from the front of the park, from outside, but it wouldn't be too in your face. And yeah, I think that's the ideal location for it. So on the next episode, we will put a roller coaster in. Woo! I'm just working on some walls. I've released quite a few walls onto the workshop, as some of you may have seen. I like making walls. I like making something that looks nice, has a few pieces in it. It's nice and small, and it saves people time when they're building. You don't have to build a wall. You've got your piece. You just keep plopping it in. And they're proving quite popular at the minute. I've put a few buildings onto the workshop, which has never done too well. But small items like walls, people seem to like. So look out for some more of those. I'm sure I'm going to put some more on there. I quite like challenging myself to come up with new ideas on new little walls and just little things to detail your parks with. I feel you should be building your buildings, but if I can help detail your park in any way, I will. So we're just building small things like that at the moment. I'm just trying to find a nice tree to go out the front here, and I thought I didn't want it too big. There's some nice trees, but they sort of hid the entire building. So we've just gone for a nice thin tree here and some foliage around it. We're going to put some rocks along the path, and that sort of ties it in with the entrance to the park. We've got rocks around the park path over by the safari ticket office. So it just ties it all in nicely together. Now, if you're enjoying the episode or enjoying the series, please ring that bell so you don't miss the next episode, like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. I am looking into setting up a Twitch and doing some live streaming. And that's highly likely to be things with Planet Coaster, so look out for that. I will let you know if I do figure out how to do it. I'm not the most technically minded. I've managed to figure some of it out. I just have to build up the courage to go for it and actually do a live stream. So as soon as I do, I will let you know. I will advertise it on my Twitter page as well. If you're not on there, go over and follow my Twitter page. I do put news and information up on there, just so you can keep up to date with what I'm up to. We're going to put a sign on the front of the building now. The coffee one worked really well, but it was quite small. And then I found Sugar Emporium, that's it, not Sweet Success, Sugar Emporium. And it sits really nicely, and it makes it look even more like a pub. And I really wanted to get the Fox's Coffee logo on there as well, but I couldn't. Because in this, I don't know about anywhere else, but in Britain, Costa Coffee seems to be everywhere at the minute. So you'll see a lot of pubs that's got a little Costa Coffee sign because they do Costa Coffee, or your shopping centres do Costa Coffee, or your hospital. And I thought that would be really nice with a little Fox's Coffee, so it looked like a pub who did Fox's Coffee as well. But I couldn't find one. And here's me babbling away past the end of the video, so I'll put some screenshots in for you to have a look at. And until next time, see you again.